It's more than just books. The library is a social lifeline to many. A lot of people have said to me that it is their social lifeline. I think it was Shirley Hughes that recently said, a children's author, she said that people have got to become visually literate before they become computer literate. So you need to be able to look at your books, you need to be able to pick your books yourself, flick through the books. You can't just go online, choose a book and then get it delivered to your local library through a book access point. It's got to be something that children have got to feel, touch and move in order to get out, and that's the only place you can do that is a library. There is a financial pressure on local councils, and it can be appreciated that there isn't the funds to go around that there used to be. However, the spending that they're currently using is possibly not in the best way. If they recently opened the Word for £16 million, yet £40,000, in fact less than £40,000 a year to run Whitburn Library is unaffordable, it just puts it into perspective. You'll see on the posters and the windows of the library here that it says in big letters, "Have your say on the future of the libraries in South Tyneside." There's not one word that mentions that 50% of those libraries are intended to be closed. The only way to find that information out is to actually go online and read the consultation document, or ask the librarian to hand it over from behind the counter. That's not an open consultation, that's not a fair consultation. Anybody who doesn't have a computer, anyone who doesn't go online, is not going to see this information. Basically, we've been given an ultimatum. We've been told we have to volunteer and keep the library run ourselves by the community, or we're going to have all funding is going to be withdrawn and the library will close. It's unfair. It's not a consultation where we're asking for our opinion. It's a case of who's willing to volunteer. We've made their mind up already. The councillors are getting paid, or the officers are getting paid a lot of money. They've got a lot of contacts. They've got all the expertise there, and people like me who's got no experience at all with libraries is expected to come up with a solution. They have got all the information there. It's an easy option just to close the libraries, hand them to the communities. It's happened in Sunderland. I think the library in Fulwell is really struggling at the moment. I think it's down to 2 days a week under voluntary control, and I think it is likely to close. It was a great plan at the start. Yeah, we're passing it on to the community, make it look good in the press, but in actual fact they know full well these buildings are not fit for purpose. These buildings are in a couple of years just going to die off, and it's then the community's fault rather than their own fault. Whitburn Library has got a lot of heritage behind us. I think it was Lewis Carroll actually worked in Whitburn, and when he wrote the books Alice Through the Looking Glass and Alice in Wonderland, he was actually in Whitburn when he wrote those books. We have got that heritage here, the literary heritage that is in Whitburn, so we should be keeping and maintaining something for that, and to possibly run that alongside a community heritage centre potentially is one of my ideas that may actually help keep the library sustainable by having heritage trails where a small amount of income can come in. And we need to have a publicly funded library. It needs to have a member of staff from the council, a librarian, who takes the control of the running of the library. A volunteer can't do that. Another possibility is there's a building development planned on Crofton Avenue just behind the library, where they're planning on having sheltered accommodation for the elderly. Vulnerable people that require a library, having a library moved into that facility there where the cost can be shared is certainly a more sustainable way of doing things. There's buildings going on there anyway. It wouldn't cost that much more to incorporate a library into that, where the classes for the toddler tots, the baby bounce, the story tots, the knit and natter sessions can continue as they are. The library and its books can be there, the librarian can be there, and we can have more computers potentially for the online people that need that computer access. But it's also in an area where the more vulnerable require it, rather than just having a bus or a home reader service coming along and giving you books you've ordered on the internet, which these people aren't going to do. There's a lot of people now, because of the Fulwell situation, that are now using Whitburn Library. Because the library in Fulwell is no longer as good. I was speaking to someone who used to run the knit and natter session in Fulwell, and because the elderly people are not going to come to Whitburn, they're looking at somewhere close, and they're using the Bluebell pub now in Fulwell. But The other people that can travel are travelling, instead of into Sunderland, they're coming to Whitburn. They want a community like it. They want somewhere where they can see a local person and see the books rather than go to one of these massive modern hubs and not have that personalised service. These people are essentially, they are paying council tax to have a library service, and the option is use one of the publicly funded services elsewhere, or volunteer in essentially what's classed as a state of double taxation, whereby they are paying for the multi-centre hubs, which have got all the facilities that they can't use, but at the same time paying directly or indirectly to run their own little branch library, which again doesn't seem fair, and I'm not convinced is legal.